Hey everybody, Jim Malone here, coming to you live on Dallas Trading Floor. Let me check my mic, make sure that make sure that's working. I always seem to, I don't know. Technical difficulties, Jim here. Uh, wow, what a difference a day makes. Man, I'm telling you, the market sort of has bounced, so that's a good thing. Now, we're still in a market trend under pressure. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. But I was in there buying today. I mean, I bought some DocuSign that's going up. And by the way, I have a really good trade on DocuSign. And by the way, if you're looking on TikTok, super easy. Just going to point to it here. All you have to do is go to my profile, click on that link, and then just scroll down and you'll see this little trade. And if you click on this, you'll see this great bull call spread that I have on DocuSign. I just did this morning. It's a limited risk trade, and it yields with 4 contracts. It yields it has a profit potential of about almost $1,000. So it's really, really good. And it's a limited risk trade too. So that's another thing that you might want to look at. But in order to get on that, if you're on TikTok, just go to this right here and, and click on that. And if you are watching on YouTube and you want to get that same trade, super easy to do. All you have to do is go to, and I'm going to give you this come on. I'm going to give you this one here. All you have to do is go to www. Oh, that's Gmail. I'm sorry, I got too many of these things here. I get too many things. So let's put this one. So basically, just go to the website www.dallastradingfloor.com, and if you go to that, you'll see exactly the same thing that everybody is going to see on um, on TikTok. And so just go down there and just scroll down, and you'll see the little thing. It's the trade on the bull call spread on DocuSign. So DocuSign's looking really, really good right now. Just something that you might want to look at there, and it's a really good trade, and it's a limited risk. DocuSign just broke out today. The market has moved up. Apple's looking good. So it's looking good. I also did re-enter a position in PayPal. So let's kind of get to some of the slides as we speak right now. Okay, well, basically, what a difference a day makes. Boy, I'm telling you, it does. Here is basically what's happened. We're in an up market today. We're pulling back hard, but we've got this beautiful bounce. So it looks like, every once in a while the market has to correct a little bit, shake out a little bit. Definitely happened yesterday. There's no question about that. But now it's bounced and it looks like it's moving higher. Looks like really good today. The S&P is up about 1.78%. Dow Jones is up about 1.8%. Now, of course, this is not going to last forever, but we're in this uptrend, and definitely a good place to be when we're in an uptrend. Just kind of want to show you my stocks. Oops, did I get that right? Is that right? Yeah, I guess it is. Let's see. No, I'm sorry. This is my stock list as of I did have to edit this. Apple, of course, I'm in it. That's up today about 3%, which is pretty incredible. CrowdStrike, I'm in that, of course. That's up about 1.35%. I'm in, as I say, DocuSign just hit a massive buy point on this. DocuSign is still buyable right now. Definitely something that you might want to look at. I have DocuSign in all 4 of my portfolios. It was up $15.69 a day, or almost a little over 5%. And this is the tell here. Not only was it up that much, but look at the volume. So the big money now is moving into DocuSign. It's absolutely apparent, and that's why we want to be there, because we're like little minnows. We're following along behind those massive whales, which they call hedge funds and stuff like that. So we're following along behind that. So DocuSign's looking pretty darn good today. L Brands is up today. It's up 6%. Wow, this is a kind of amazing. Volume's up on that one too. Up on Microsoft, 280. Again, I moved into PayPal. It's up $5.10, or about 1.73% today. My position in Nike is doing very well. It's up as well. And then also in Santander Consumer, which is a consumer finance company that seems to be doing quite well. So that, without further ado, let's get to that's Jim Stocks. Let's look at a stock that you might want to put on your radar screen. I don't own this one yet, but it's starting to look really, really good. And this is Elanco, Elanco, Animal Health. Elanco Animal Health. Uh, kind of a kind of a weird one, but that's definitely the case here. Elanco Animal Health, and people really like their pets, and so these animal health plays are really, really good. It's up basically $1.15 today, and or about 21%. In terms of the volume, and it's up about 3%. So this is something you want to kind of look at. It's sort of setting up very, very nicely. It does have a little bit of a low composite rating. That is an issue, but it is improving. So there is a 36.63 buy point on this one, 36.63, and currently it's at 35. So it's just below that buy point. What you want to do when you have a situation like this, and you have the ability to buy it at this level, you definitely want to back my. There we go. Come on. I just for some reason my yeah, there we go. We're back. Hopefully I can turn back on the camera. I have a little bit of issue again, bandwidth issue. So I should be. Let me do this really quickly. Just to hold a second, and I'm gonna plug in some more bandwidth here, and I'm gonna do that right now. Um, I've been kind of bandwidth constrained. I must say. So there. Hopefully this will make a difference, and I'm going to go right back here. Thanks for holding on here, and hopefully this will make a little bit of a difference. See if I can. There we go. I think I need both of those. I need both of those 200 megabit channels. So, anyways, taking a look at Elon, this is one you might want to look at. Now, you don't want to buy it right now because it's at 35.38. You want to wait until it moves above this 36.63 buy point. So here's how I would do this one. I would set a buy stop limit order, and I basically set it for, um, uh, set the stop is equal to. I'm going to put that in there right now. The stop will be right at the buy point, which is 36.63. And then the limit order is 10 cents above that. So that's 36.73. So if you were to do it this way, if you were to buy this stock, it's super easy to do. You just set a very specialized order. It's called a buy stop limit order. And basically with the buy stop limit order, what happens is as it goes above this 36.63, then it offers to buy it at a price of 36.73. He said, Jim, why would you want to buy it for more? Why didn't you want to get a bargain? Why wouldn't you want to buy? Why do you want to buy for more here? Well, one of the major reasons that you want to do that is so that you're buying on strength. That's very, very, very important. And this will allow you to do it. It's called a buy stop limit order. And this one might be a very good candidate for it. It's Elanco Animal Health. ELAN is the ticker symbol on that. So just wanted to kind of show that to everyone. By the way, we have this great, in case you're not on the list yet, we have a great special Discord service where basically I'm available pretty much the whole trading day from the open until this show, try to answer questions and hopefully to to help everybody on that. I try to be on board on all of these. So this is kind of a neat little service, super easy to get access to that service. Just go to Venny.com/u/Dallas Trading Floor. So that kind of gives you an idea of the special Discord service, and a lot of people really like it. And a lot of people, we've had some very big success stories. I'm going to probably try to put some success stories out today. We've had some people that have done very well. They did very well. Some people did very well in NVIDIA. So just kind of wanted to highlight some of those kind of cool things that are going on. And without further ado, let's get into some of the questions. Let's see if I'm going to bring that up. Thank you. Any stock for trading tomorrow? Well, I do like this Elon. This is one, and I also DocuSign. So let me just look at Elon first. Let's kind of really analyze the chart. It's ELAN, and hopefully, yep, ELAN, and NVIDIA, and Docu. So I just want to kind of go over those ones first. So let me put this up here. I'm just bringing up my charts, and hopefully they're going to be working well this time. Man, I tell you, last few days, it's just been I have been just sort of you know, not the greatest when it comes to technical. So hopefully today this will work a little better. So let's pull that window up here. And by the way, if you're looking on TikTok, this is available um, on YouTube. All you have to do is go to my profile, click on that link, and then if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you should see the live feed for the show that we're doing right now on YouTube. And that way you can see all the charts. But without further ado, I want to show you DocuSign, and this is the one that I've really that I really want to highlight. Why? Because, well, first of all, the bull call spread. That's something that is pretty great that you can do. And by the way, you can get access to that bull call spread very easily. Just all you have to do is go to the website, and you will see it. There we go. All right, yeah. Just to get access to this bull call spread that I did on DocuSign, I think it's really worth looking at. And I'm going to go through it piece by piece here in just a second. But this is a very good chart. DocuSign is looking very good. It's almost extended here. It's above 300. It should be bought really at about this level, really no higher. The volume is very high on it, and I think it's making a nice move. And I think that we're going to see it basically pulled well above the pivot. So this is probably going to go higher, at least for the time being. And I kind of want to give you kind of a look-see at the way that lines up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up I'm going to pull up I'm going to pull up the there we go. Let's see if I can. I guess oh, that's right, because it's I've got to pull it up on. So let's go over here to. What I'm doing is I'm pulling this up on slides. I kind of want to show you this bull call spread that and also hopefully we'll be able to. There we go. Okay, so here we go, and let's share that out. So this is something that I worked on today. It's available basically by going to www Dallas Trading Floor, and then just this is the bull call spread on DocuSign. And I kind of want to go through it with you. This is a really interesting one. I think this has a high propensity to be right. Now, if you want to get this full deck and get all these notes and everything, just go to www Dallas Trading Floor. Not at Gmail. I'm sorry, DallasTradingFloor.com. Let's see if we're gonna. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there we go. This is where you want to go. This is where you want to go to get this bull call spread. But anyways. The advantage of this is that, first of all, DocuSign is moving higher, and we have an opportunity. Basically, the entry cost on this for 4 contracts. Now, you can do this with 1 contract. And matter of fact, my intern did it with 3 contracts. So you can really size this one nicely in terms of about $250 exposure here. This has a maximum return of about $976, depending on when you enter the spread. The break evens are at about 302.56, and basically the way it works is that if you do this this spread, basically it will, as long as by the 20th of August it closes above about 302.56, actually 302.50, this will make a profit. So if you're able to hold this into the close, this will produce about a $950 profit, which is very, very good. This has a potential of about a 90% profit in, let's see, 1 month and about 45 days. So it's pretty strong, and this is kind of basically gives the how it lines out. Just kind of want to show you why DocuSign is so good right now. The composite rating's 99. Well, that's the best. The earnings per share rating is 99. That's the best too. Relative strength is 83. We like to see anything above an 80. That's really good. The relative strength of the group is B plus, which is excellent. This is an improving group. The So everything is, and this is the basic point, amazing thing here. Many big funds are now accumulating DocuSign. DocuSign has become a de facto leader in the document space. If you've been selling in the last few years, if you've sold a house or a car or anything like that, you're going to probably be using DocuSign. They just have a tremendous presence in the space, and it looks like the potential for this company is pretty much limitless. I mean, it's probably going to double in sales. It's already huge, but this is a great way to take advantage of. Just wanted to put it out there. If you're watching online, just go to www.dallastradingfloor.com, and then you'll see the trade. You just push on that button, and you'll be good to go to get on that list. To see the trade. Anyways, so that is kind of what I am looking at currently, and those are two really good ones. All right, so here we go. Any hopes for AI? I purchased. Oh, I have a purchase price of 150. Wow. Here's the thing. This is such a critical thing, and I probably I can sympathize with you, because when I was initially a new trader, I made this mistake all the time, and that was I and that was I basically let my I cut my profits short, and I and I let my and I cut my winners short, and I let my losers run, thinking they would come back. Here's the thing: if you're ever down more than 7% on the stock, let me see if I can pull this back up. Here we go. All right. If you're ever down more than 7% on the stock, it's really time to close it. You see, I'm probably not trying to be cute here, but you see, if you bought it at 150, then you should have ideally closed it at no lower no lower than about 140. You should never take more than about a 7% loss. Here is my advice to you, and you're probably not going to want to hear this. I think you should sell your stock now, and then we're gonna build you a portfolio that'll work. Right now, you're in a situation where it may come back someday. I was in the stock too, but when it pulled below my stop loss, I cut my losses. And the reason you do this is just because you just don't want to draw down in your capital accounts. Unfortunately, that's the case. Whenever you buy a stock, you just got to get into this habit. When you buy a stock, buy the stock, and then put in a stop loss immediately at 7% lower than that price, no exceptions. And you put in a market stop. This way, you're never going to really you may lose 7%, but you're not going to lose you're not going to lose 2/3. Unfortunately, right now you've lost 2/3 of the price of that. So and it's going to be tough to get it back, because when you go more than about 7% in loss, it's much more difficult. See, now to get back to where you were even, you have to have at least a 200% return in your portfolio, and that's very unlikely. So, but don't stop the bleeding now, cut your losses, and then go to cash, and then we'll help you build a good a good portfolio. And that's really the key. You just got to do that, because as hard as that is, that will help you the most. That will help you. That will help you the most. So the best thing to do is to cut your losses, and then possibly go back in with try to build it from there. But I think really what you got to do is you got to cut your losses right now. And I hate to give you that news. I just hate to do it, but I know what the answer is. The answer is simple, and and the answer is basically you just need to cut your losses, and you need to cut your losses now. So cut your losses, and then we can get on to building a good portfolio for you. And by the way, let's talking about portfolios, let's take a look at the small portfolio. I just kind of want to show you my allocations on the stocks that I have. And I'm going to go in here and this is, by the way, this is a this is in Google Sheets, and what I do here is I show my profit and losses in a relatively small portfolio. This is an IRA that I trade, and so it's a good and I use it basically for a demonstration because it's definitely something that that is a very good um, portfolio to learn on. Now, currently, this is where I am in my small portfolio. And as I said, my right now, at least in my small portfolio, one of my top holdings is DocuSign. As you can see, I have in DocuSign, I have a little bit more than one position. I have basically two full positions in DocuSign. It's currently at about 15% of my portfolio. Typically, with a portfolio, you have 8 full positions, so it's not quite 2 full positions. That would be 16%, about 50%, about two full positions. It's up significantly. I've held it for 5 days, and we're up about we're up about 5%, which is pretty good. The second largest holding that I have currently is Nike. Now, unfortunately, Nike is not in a buy zone. We could buy DocuSign right now because it's right at the buy point. You can buy it right now. But with Nike, unfortunately, I bought that a little bit while ago. As you can see, I've held that one for 28 days. It's up about 4% over that period of time. So pretty good in that as well. Of course, everybody knows I'm an Apple. I'm definitely an Apple fan. I eat an Apple day to keep the tax man away. I had an Apple just before the show, and that's up about 3%. Also Microsoft in there, and then I'm also in the Santander consumer, but I still have a significant amount of cash. I'm currently 23% in cash. Now, are all my stocks winners? Absolutely not. I wish they were, but this is my trading record for this month so far. As you can see, I've lost on several of these. I mean, I've lost on KLIC, L Brands, the Trade Desk, but you notice how all of those losses are 7% or below. And why? Because those are stop losses. That's what's happening here. I'm getting stopped out of these positions, and then I'm taking that money and I'm putting it in the better positions. And then when the better positions with DocuSign gets above 20%, then I'm selling those and taking those profits. So as you can see, so far this month for the portfolio, I'm up. Now I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 losing trades. But I had 2 great trades, and that's really what you want to do. That's why the 7% rule works, because we're never taking more than a 7% loss, and we're typically trading that for a 20% or 21% gain. That's a 3 times. So if you do this on a regular basis over a period of time, you're going to win on this. So currently, as you can see, we're up for the month about 5.52%. Now, if we annualize this, if we took this on an annualized basis, we would be coming out with, quite a bit. We've come out with 60% return on our portfolio. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Now you can see same thing the month before. I was up a lot more the month before because it was a little bit better month. That was in June. But as you can see, I had losers in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 losers. But I also had winners too. And I was trying to take those, and I was trying to take those profits fast. So part of the way I trade is that I try to get into the best stocks as they are moving, and then keep pushing my stop loss up. When I get sold out, then I am, I am taking that and moving that to to a different moving it into the profit column. So that's it's a sort of an automatic way to trade. I'm going to try to put together some videos on this because it's a tremendous, it can be a tremendous tremendous way to go. So let me put up for Matt. Let's put up. Let's analyze. Let's analyze THC. This is Tenant Healthcare, and this one's interesting because let's see. Yeah, there we go. This one's really interesting because it's Tenant Healthcare. It's obviously based here in Dallas. We just a second. There we go. Currently, we are not in a buy zone for this one. we are above the buy zone. The buy point on this one was 57.98. You can see that right here. Now, that was on a cup basis, and then it moved above that point. Now, what does a buy point mean? Well, typically, as a stock moves, it moves into these consolidations, and then it moves above, and then it consolidates, and it moves above. So you want to buy as it's moving through a buy point, on up from the buy point on up about 5%. And so right now, we could buy this, but it is relatively extended. Now, another thing we can look at here is we can see how far above the see how far above the the 10-day line that we are. So let's take a look here. I'm going to see if I can put it right there. Okay. So currently we are extended very significantly. We are over 4% above the 10-day line. So this is not a good entry point right now. I know it's hard because when you're looking at this, you're like, wow, that's a gap up. It looks really good, Jim. Well, why wouldn't you get into it? Because the further you get away from these buy points and these index lines, the more risk you take. So basically, right now is probably not a good time to enter Tenant Healthcare. Just because it's a good stock, it just tactically is not the best time. Though the relative strength is good. This is a good stock. You should definitely have this on your watch list. 77%, 77% on this checklist. So it's an excellent checklist. The group is continuing to do extremely well. The medical hospitals area right now is 12 out of 197 in terms of the sectors. So this is a really good place to be. It's just not the right time to buy it. Now, here's what you need to do. You need to watch the stock, wait for it to pull back to the 50-day line. If it pulls back to the 50-day line or even the 21-day line and reverses, which is kind of what it does today, then you can buy it. But you want to make sure it pulls back and then reverses higher. Right now, it's a little extensive. I probably would not buy THC right now. I would wait for another opportunity, and that may be a pullback and a reversal off the 21-day line. So I really appreciate that. That question. Let's look at Hans on Square and AMC. I'm going to first look at Square. Square is tremendous in the payment space. Now, of course, I prefer PayPal, but I do like Square as well. It has some very nice chart action right now, but currently it is not at a buy point. You might be able to buy it as a reversal, but let's take a look. And what I'm going to do here, and what I'm doing here is I'm drawing a line that's kind of going with the higher highs. Now, currently, and I'm going to set an alert on that line. Now, what am I doing here? Well, you always want to buy a stock as it's moving higher. And right now, it has not moved above this trend line. So we want to wait for it to move higher. Now, if tomorrow and the next day it moves above this trend line, then we have an alert that we're good to go on the buying of it. Now, there are some issues here with this stock. The relative strength is only 75. I like to see at least 80, but because of the drawdowns in the market, I think that, this is definitely a place that we could possibly buy. There is another issue here, and that is the finance credit card payment area. It's not the greatest group. It's 103 out of 197. So with that in mind, let's kind of look to see if there's any better opportunities in this particular group. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to move over to this group. It's the 103 group. So let's see if I can get that up on the screen. And what I'm doing here is I'm just basically going to these are the sectors of the market. And what I'm doing here is I'm going down to the industry groups, and I'm looking for group 103, which is where the credit cards are. So I'm just going to go ahead and look at the rank, and I'm going to sort those ascending. And we're going to go down here and look for 103. So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to find out in this credit card space, what are the other good companies? Because we always want to try to be buying the best of the best if we possibly can. This is the credit card group. So it's been doing very well. It's got a nice chart, the overall chart. But we want to look at the top stocks here. Now, currently, and this is what I wanted to show you. Currently, the number one stock in this category is PayPal. So Square is in there in a big way, but its relative strength is not quite as good as PayPal. PayPal is a little bit better, 85 as opposed to 75. Nothing wrong with Square, but if you're interested in this group, you always ought to look to buying the most powerful in that group, and currently that is PayPal. So I'm going to go over here and take a look at PayPal to see if PayPal is viable. And let's look, PYPL. Now, I do know that it kind of is because I've been a buyer of PayPal. That's why I know. So here's the thing. Even though PayPal is a more expensive stock, it moved off a little bit after hours. It's 295.75 after hours. But right now, and as you can see by all of this notation that I have here, PayPal is in a superior space in terms of where you can buy it. Square is number two, but PayPal is number one. So here's what I would recommend, Hans, on this. If you're looking at Square, consider PayPal. It's a better deal. Even though it's more expensive, it definitely is it's a better stock. And this is the most bonus thing about it. Currently, PayPal is basically right at the buy point because the buy point on a cup with handle base is 296. Now it just after hours it went to 296.54, so it's sitting right at the pivot. If you were to buy this right above that at maybe 296.64 with a buy stop limit order, then you would be buying this just about perfectly, and this is going to give you probably the most potential. So if you're looking at Square, consider PayPal. It's probably a better bet right now. Now, let's go to AMC, of course. And AMC is, that's the king of the meme stocks. So let's see if we can find a way to trade AMC. The problem with AMC is, first of all, there's a lot of politically going on with AMC. I have drawn this reversal line here. This is this black line here. Currently, AMC is trading below this reversal line. So I probably would not be a buyer at this level. I want to see AMC move above. Basically, I want to see it move above about $49. Currently, it's at 42. So right now on AMC, I would not be a buyer. Out of these two things here, Square and AMC, I would pick neither of these two, but I would consider buying PayPal, PYPL, because it's set up very, very nicely, and it's the number one in that group. All right, any good stocks to buy right now? Well, as I said, DocuSign is, and I want to reiterate this one. I did talk a little bit about this one, and of course, this is the one I have the bull call spread on. And I think this is a very, very good stock. And I think this is going to be, I think at the beginning of a very, very strong run, kind of like what we had in NVIDIA. Right now, it's pulled up and it's right in the buy range. So you could definitely buy this one right now. It's pulled back a little bit after ours. It's about 300, but the buy point on this one is 290. So we are looking very, very strong. This is one you might want to consider buying right now. This is being accumulated by many of the biggest funds. So, and I'm in this one heavily. I have this in all four accounts. It's funny. I find that in trading that I make most of my money on very few stocks. Now, in the last few months, I've made most of my gains on NVIDIA. But right now, it seems like that's changing a little bit, and I'm starting to see a lot of action on DocuSign. So DocuSign for me is doing very, very well. So this is a good stock that you could buy right away, right now. DocuSign, DOCU. Now another stock that I do think is right now at a very good place and is viable is PayPal, PYPL. Again, I was talking a little bit about this before. This is also in a buy zone. It is also a leader. See, both DocuSign and PayPal are number one in their category. So we like to buy the best possible stocks that we can get. And the two of those right now are PayPal and DocuSign. So that's kind of the thing that I want to say. Right now, the market is tougher to trade than it was before. It's not like it was even 6 months ago, where just about anything in the tech space was working. Not everything in the tech space is working right now. Only the best of the best. So I really think that it's a good time to start looking at the leaders that are coming out of the box. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so high right now on DocuSign. We'll see. Now, for one that I'm not currently back into, but it's just split 4 for 1. If you've been with me for any amount of time, you'll know that I'm a big fan of NVIDIA. I have not re-entered the position. I sold all my positions on Monday and Tuesday of this week, primarily because I wanted to see it recover. And I do think that we're getting to the point where we could possibly make a move higher. Now, here's one thing you'll notice about this chart. Just yesterday, it was just yesterday, it was like $700. You go, what happened, Jim? Well, it split 4 for 1. Now, in Nvidia's run, it went as high as basically it went as high as basically um, about 830, and see that's because this is represented here. It's high at 208.75. Now, typically, what happens when a stock splits is that people that get the split shares will then take some of their shares and then sell off some of those shares, and then that will pull the price down. But I do expect, because it's such a strong stock, that if we see Nvidia move above that 21-day line, and that's I'm gonna put in a price alert that right there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna track the price, and I'm gonna go right to that 21-day line because that's a key line, and that is about 191. So if Nvidia moves above about 191, then I am very interested in looking to buy that. So I'm going to look, look to buy Nvidia. But I don't really. I want to see it move a little bit with a little bit more strength. I want to see it clear that 21-day. I think if we reverse on that 21-day, and that's kind of looking like what we're seeing, then I'm more interested in getting back into Nvidia. Now, one cautionary note. Uh, Earnings are in 29 days. So as we get closer to earnings, it becomes more and more risky. So basically, when you're starting out a position, when you're coming into earnings, this is a rule of thumb, and I just put it out there. You want to be up 10% in your stock before earnings. If not, you want to consider selling at least half your position. Why? Because earnings can be very fickle. They can they can do bad things to your stock. So if you're not up 10% or approximately 10% prior to earnings, consider selling and then buying it back after earnings because earnings events can take the stock down significantly. Now, talking about earnings, I have a bear call spread on Intel. Now, unfortunately, I love Intel as a company, but they are experiencing some issues. The question is, what is going to happen after earnings? Now, earnings for Intel are basically in 2 days. And I do expect that their earnings are not going to be all that stellar this time around. I do think, we are in a downward trend with we are in a downward trend with with Intel. And if you see if we kind of go through we draw that trend line, we see it just did move above that trend line. It did just move above that trend line, but it's still fighting to see if it's going to trend higher. Currently, the trend for Intel is downward, and I do not expect a good earnings report for Intel, and that's why I have a bear call spread on Intel for next week for this week when earnings. So we'll see how that works. That was featured yesterday on the show. And so hopefully everybody that got in on that, what I'm going to do is part of the reason I like you going to and putting your name and address in is so I can email you when I close the trade and when I close it out, just so that it will help. So that if you sign and you put your name and address in, when you take a look at the trade, if you decide to do the trade, then that gives me an email list that I can then send to when I close the trade and when I close it for. So that can be a good thing. All right. Any good stock? Okay, that we did that good stocks. Okay. Sound is good. Okay, fantastic. I'm getting sound. That's working today. I'm so loving this. Okay, let's look at Wish. I did have a spread on Wish. I didn't do anything on it. I lost a little bit of money on it, and I did close it. I only had one contract. It was very, very small. I'm afraid this is just not the kind of stock I have part of my portfolios that are speculative. This one, I think I just don't think I just don't think it's performing well, and I don't think you should be in it. If you look at, and this is something you always want to do when you look at a chart. Now I'm looking at the daily chart here. Is you want to look to see you want to size up the chart, and one of the ways you size up the chart is you look to see how is the chart trending. Well, this chart, as you can see, is trending downwards. So I'm just drawing a line here. And what am I doing? Well, what I'm doing is I'm drawing a line through the high points. This is the highest it made, and then this is the next kind of reversal. So this is the reversal line. If you can, as you can see, all of the price action is below that reversal line. So just based on this, I wouldn't buy it. And the reason I wouldn't buy it is because this stock is trending lower. I don't want to buy stocks that are trending lower. I want to only buy stocks that are trending higher. So right now on Wish, I'm afraid you just gotta probably if you're down on this one, I think maybe what you might want to do is cut your losses. And this is why that 7% rule is so important. And I know I keep reiterating it again and again and again. I'm like a broken record. But whenever you go into a stock, if you set it so that you are only down 7% and you're selling, that's going to help you preserve your capital. So let's take a question from TikTok. Thank you very much for holding. Bitcoin. Also, if you've been around for a while, you'll notice that I was indicating for a while that I thought that there might be a sort of a drawdown on on Bitcoin, and indeed, I'm afraid that's sort of happening. So I'm going to go over here to Bitcoin, kind of look at that to see. Yeah, boy, Bitcoin just doesn't seem to get a break. And of course, I have not, that's why I don't trade Bitcoin directly. I use what they call the GBTC. So let's take a look at that Bitcoin price. It is broken below, it's help, I've fallen and I can't get up. Remember that? Remember that commercial? That was a great one. I don't know, I'm dating myself here, but that was like one of the greatest commercials ever. Help, I've fallen, I can't get up. Well, that's sort of what's happening to Bitcoin. It is below that key $30,000 level. And it looks like that means it's probably going to go lower. So if you have Bitcoin right now, you might want to draw your line in the sand. I think, I wouldn't hold this too much lower than it is now if I have any, because I do think the next stop is about 22,000. So I think you got to be really, really careful when it comes to Bitcoin. By the way, I think this, so far this year, this is one of the number one asset classes. So you can't totally rule out Bitcoin, of course, but I think that the situation is not as good. It's just not as good as it was before. I think it's really better to be careful with Bitcoin. Let me show you the GBTC. This is the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, and GBTC is the symbol. And the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust holds about 4% of the world's Bitcoin, and it is traded as an ETF on on exchanges. So I use this as a proxy. And remember, for the last few weeks, I've been trying to say to everyone, hey, I think that Bitcoin is probably going to go down. And we'll say, well, why, Jim? Why is that? Well, because if you'll notice, there's been a downward trend on the GBTC chart. And that hasn't been just for a while. It's really gone since about April. So we have been in a downward trend on Bitcoin since April. And since this is 4% of the world's Bitcoin, it's likely that the price of Bitcoin is going to fall sort of not in lockstep with the GBTC, but this is going to show us kind of the trend. And right now, we have what they call the death cross. If you'll notice, this line here is a 50-day line. It is crossed below this black line. That's a 200-day line. When this happens, that denotes that there's going to be erosion in the price of this underlying commodity. And so I'm afraid to say it's not looking too good for Bitcoin. I think the next stop on Bitcoin is going to be about 22,000. So not great. Not great. All right. I have a question on Netflix. And of course, this is one of the FANG stocks in FLX. And I did see a great show last night on Netflix. Not that I should advertise for them. They do very well on their own. But I love, I don't know if anyone out there saw this, Ice Road Truckers, but they have a movie about Ice Road, which I really thought was great. Anyways, um, I like those kind of things. Those are my kind of favorite ones. All right, let's take a look at the chart for Netflix, see how it's doing. Well, there is one good thing. It's still trading above that 200-day line, so that is good. But it doesn't look it the trend, unfortunately, it has reversed. It has reversed lower. It was making this attempt to move above this trend line here, but it didn't happen. Um, what happened is it bounced on this trend line, and it does kind of look like it's moving a little bit higher, but this is very weak. So right now, I probably would not be a buyer of Netflix until it proves itself and moves above about 563, and that's this intermediate high here. And the reason that I say that is because if it moves beyond that, then I think we can assume that it's in a upward trend. Right now, it's not. Right now, it's sort of going sideways. And another thing is, at the end of the month, we have earnings. I suspect earnings will be very good for Netflix, but the question is, will they be good enough? As you can see, the last time we had earnings, we had a gap down, and then the time before that, we we um, we had a gap up. So it's really hard to gauge this in terms of the earnings. But typically, I suspect that even if the numbers are good for Netflix, that we probably will see a gap down. Now, but here's one thing we got to look at with Netflix. The earnings have been consistently good. The growth has been really, really good. It's about 25% per quarter is their growth in revenue. So that's very, very strong. Um, and they've also had this tremendous gain in earnings. Now, I question this number because this may be some accounting issues here because it they were making money all the way there, then they lost money in December. Obviously, they took charges there, and then so who knows what kind of accounting issues are going on with Netflix. But right now, I just don't think it's a good place to be in the fangs. If you want to be in the fangs, I think you gotta kind of go back to basics and look at Microsoft, MSFT. I'm in Microsoft. I'm also in Apple, and these fangs seem to be very boring, but they seem to be doing very, very well. Let's look at Microsoft here. And this is, yeah, okay, so, and there you go. Now I'm off a little bit, but you can see where I bought a full position right there. And this was a few days ago. This was basically about a week ago. It's off a little bit, but it's moving back here. I have been building a position in Microsoft really since it moved above that 283 buy point. I've been building a position. I still think that this one in a rocky market, this is a great way to go with Microsoft. The other FANG stock that is not very technically, Microsoft is not a FANG stock, but it trades like a FANG stock. The other one is our old friend Apple, and that is, it did pull back yesterday, but it's a little bit outside of the channel. I've got the channel up here, but it looks like it's pulling right back into that channel. So I suspect that Apple will probably be moving higher based on what I'm seeing. It's off a little bit in after hours, but just basically 23 cents on very low volume. So I do expect that we're going to see Apple move higher, and I think I suspect we'll be up about $5 a share by the end of August. So I definitely think 150, 152 on Apple looks very likely. So if you're looking to buy, if you're looking to buy something like Netflix, consider buying something like Apple because I do think it's a better stock right now. And nothing against Apple, but I'm looking for the best of the best. All right, Jeet, thank you very much. Let's look at Coinbase, and of course, Coinbase is one of the biggest of the online marketplaces for crypto. But as we indicated in the earlier part of the show, crypto is having trouble. Crypto is because Bitcoin now is below 30,000. I think the next stop on this is unfortunately, 22,000. And I think that the chart for Coinbase really kind of tells the tale. There's so much excitement when it came out in April, but it has just been trending down. So I wouldn't be a buyer right now of Coinbase. It's not a good chart right now, and I think you got to avoid it. But I would watch this one because if the market for um, if the market for Bitcoin moves higher, then Coinbase is going to do well. But this is so tied to coin. This is so tied to Bitcoin. I think you got to be super careful with coin right now. On Disney DIS, this one is interesting. It has been pulling lower, but it made an attempt, and I do think you know, and maybe I'm a Debbie Downer here, but I'm not as bullish on Walt Disney right now because of the reopening with the COVID thing. They really depend a lot on their, to hit on all cylinders. Disney Cruise Lines has to be up, and I really don't know if that's going to do as well in this kind of environment. Also, Walt Disney World and some of the other theme parks have to be doing well. So this is, if there's another outbreak of COVID, I think we're going to have issues there too. So I would not be a buyer of Disney right now, just because it's not Disney, it's really the situations that we see, in the leisure market. I just think that it's a little bit risky, and I'm probably not. I'm not as much of a fan of Disney at this level, though I do think Disney Plus is great and it's doing super, and it's actually taking market share from Netflix to some extent, which Disney is going to be very formidable in that space. There's no way to sugarcoat it. They're going to take share from from everybody else. They're probably the best in the business, but I don't think that's enough to carry the company because it's a massive company, and they really depend on their theme parks. So, and I don't think they're going to be doing that. Hey, thank you, Kate. Thanks for taking a look at the show. I am waiting. I'm still waiting for Nvidia. Um, I haven't given up on Nvidia. Believe me, I love Nvidia. Nvidia is one of my favorite stocks. In the first part of this year, it's one of the stocks that I did the very very best in. Really started buying it here in May and then moving it all the way up. What I do think is it's still not time to buy it. I want to see it confirm above about that 21-day exponential moving average, and that's this green line here. So I want to see it move above that, show a little bit of a strength. I want to also see some more volume coming in, and the volume is starting to come in. So this is very encouraging. I just don't want to buy it now because I still want to see it get support above that 21-day line. But once it does, then I'm probably going to get back into the stock. As you can see, after hours, it's trading higher. So right now, I'm right now with Nvidia, and this market is tough to trade right now. So I have a fairly large amount of cash in my portfolios, but I would say with this one at about 192, if it moves above that, then I'm probably interested, and it can hold it. Then I'm interested in getting back into it. So I definitely really really like Nvidia. It's one of my favorite stocks, and but right now I've kind of switched. I've moved over to DocuSign because it's just showing some excellent characteristics. So that's kind of where I'm at there. Thoughts on Palantir? Thanks, Gunnar. Palantir, of course, I was in Palantir. I got stopped out of it, and I just have not found a place to get back in. I think long term this is a great stock, but right now I think you got to watch this one, just because it is not performing as well as we would have liked. It moved up very nicely from the IPO, in January on up to about 45, but it's lost ground since then. So it's basically 50% of where it was. I really, for an IPO, I want to see it above 45. So I'm going to be watch listing this one for now. I know it's a strange thing, but I like to. One of the things, if you buy at higher highs, that's going to give you your best opportunity for success. It sounds very counterintuitive. Why would you want to buy something that's cheaper? Well, part of the reason is it's cheaper, generally speaking, for a reason. And the reason a stock typically is cheaper is because the holders, the people that are holding the shares, are what they call weak holders. So they're taking all the bids. So anybody that's bidding something, they're just selling, and that causes downward pressure. A stock goes up when people refuse to sell at the low price. they put the ask up, and the only way you're going to buy those shares is if you pay that ask. So right now, at least with Palantir, there's money more. There's weak holders that are willing to take the bid, and that's the problem. So right now, I think you got to stay out of Palantir at least until it moves above about $45. I think if it moves above $45, I think that could be really really good. And it may be the future. Absolutely, no question about it. Palantir is an excellent time, but remember, you don't necessarily. Here's the thing. Last year, Tesla was my very best stock, but I hadn't owned it for 12 years. I mean, people that were early adopters, and held through everything, bully for them. I think it's really great. But I bought it. I started buying it when it was about 196, and I rode it all the way up to the first and second splits. That's what you want to do. Not stocks won't go up all the time, but you want to catch the wave on the ones that do. And I think that's the case with Palantir. It probably will have its day, but right now I think you got to be careful. Preserve your cash. Find some other stocks that may give you as much of a bump on that. Let's look at Zim. Okay, so that's the Israeli National Maritime Company. It's been around since I think 1945, long time. It's a bulk carrier, and with all of this commodity inflation in the world, trade in grains and those kind of things, they need these bulk carriers, and it's very interesting because for years this trade just wasn't a good trade, but it has become a good trade. But I do think that transport has sort of evened out, and it's not looking as good as I'd like to see it right now. It was an IPO. It moved really. It was nicely up to about 49.90, but it's been pulling back since. Would I swing trade this one? Well, yes, but I'd only trade it if it moves above the 40-day line. So I would probably watch this one right now. I would not be a swing trader on Zim. Not right now. All right. Any positions? How many positions to buy for DocuSign? Well, here's the thing. I did buy 4 full positions in 4 of my accounts for DocuSign today, and I also did a bull call spread on it. If you're interested in the bull call spread, super easy to get on the list to see it. And let me put that up here. All you really have to do if you're on the website is just go to that's the Gmail. That's the email address. It's just to go to www.dallastradingfloor.com, and then you will see it. You'll just see it has the action trade alerts, and then right below that is the trade for is the trade for DocuSign. This is a call trade. It's a limited risk trade, and I think it might be very good. But I am very bullish right now on DocuSign. I am very, very bullish on DocuSign. The numbers have been very, very good. Let's pull up the chart for DocuSign right now. DOCU. Simple. And as you can see, there it is, DocuSign. And you can see with all this, I did a lot of notations on there's my buy points and just kind of what I've been doing. I've been buying DocuSign essentially since it started, since about 250, and then I've wrote it up about $50. I'm now getting really excited about it, of course, as it's moving above that 290 buy point. Close today at 300, so that's significant. It is little extended. It's not extended now, but it could be extended very shortly. So if you're going to try to build a position in DocuSign, maybe it'll pull back a little bit. You want to buy it right about here. You don't want to buy it too much above about 300 because, of course, you'll be extended then. But as you can see, nice volume coming in here on DocuSign. So here's what's happening. There's a lot of institutional money that's moving into DocuSign, basically as a safety play. All right. Well, let's see. I think I have one more question, and I really appreciate everybody logging on here. Oh, goodness. I have a lot more questions. Sorry about this. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay. Space. Okay. Well, space pulled back today because, and of course that's Virgin Galactic. It pulled back because of Richard not Richard Branson. Mark Bezos' successful flight into space. It was pretty cool. By the way, I do have a spread on Amazon, and I think they're doing pretty well. Unfortunately, Virgin pulled back a little bit. It's now down after hours to about 31. This is a tough stock to trade. I'll be honest with you. But here's the thing: if it does start to rocket up, the way to play this one, not like a normal stock, because obviously they really don't have any earnings yet. I think this might be the first time that they're gonna actually able to to recognize any earnings, because I guess this first flight there were some paying people on there, so they're starting to be able to recognize some sales. Up until now, of course, they have had no sales, and they issued all that new stock. So here's the thing: let's see how it trades. I'm really more interested in the stock if it can move above about 35.82. 35.82 is the buy point on Virgin Galactic. So if it can rocket above, if it can rocket above that number, then I think that might be the way to go. Here's how you with space. The way you have to buy it is you have to do it like this. You can't really just go in there and buy it in an open market. You got to do a buy stop limit order on it. So as it moves above a certain price, then that's where you buy it. When you buy this stock, immediately put your stop loss in, and that will help you trade it very, very well. Well, I have come to the end of the hour, and I just could go on for this for hours and hours. But if you want to get if you're gonna want to get in on that trade, the if you want to get in on the bear call spread, there's still time to get into this. We are right now at a very key level. So if you want to get in on that, just go to www Dallas Trading Floor, and you can sign up for the. You'll see it. It says bull call spread on bull call spread on a bull call spread on DocuSign. So that's what you want to look at, and www Dallas Trading Floor. And if you're looking on TikTok, super easy. Just to get to this trade, super easy. All you have to do is go to my profile, click on the link, and you'll see it. It'll go right to beacons, and then you'll be able to see it on there. So that's another way that you can do that. And also, if you want to sign up for the action trailers, it's super easy. Just sign up on the just sign up on DallasTradingFloor.com. So until tomorrow at 2:30, thanks everybody. I was a little bit late today. Hopefully I'll be on time on 2:30. I was working on this trade, but also if you want to take a look at the Discord room where we really go into depth on this, that's also something there that's available, and you can take a look at that by going to www.dallastradingfloor.com, and then you can just punch on the link if you want to go ahead and take a look at that Discord room as well. All right, well, until tomorrow at I'm being spammed right now on my phone. Until tomorrow, oh God, they just will not quit. All right, until tomorrow at 2:30, I will be back, and happy trading. And let's put it up. Let's put the little thingy up there. Yeah, there we go. All right, till tomorrow 2:30. Thanks everybody. Happy trading.